Petty theft and bank robberies are common in Lego City, but some crooks take things to the extreme. From using bulldozers, magnet trucks, and tow trucks to pull off the job, to giant prison breaks that take months to prepare. The worst crimes in Lego City look a lot like this, but a good place to start is the museum break-in set. This one features a couple art thieves looking to steal from the museum, and like most of them, it's heavily secured, but these crooks are no amateurs. They came prepared with a tethering rope, a tool belt, and some extra rope on their body just in case. Their plan was to break in from the top by tilting the glass roof panels, then slowly descend using the rope on their bodies and try their best to avoid the laser grid guarding the museum's artifacts. Once they got out, they'd get away in their very well-equipped getaway van and go back to their hideout. But this is Lego City, so of course it didn't play out like that. The cops were onto them fast and chased them down with a SWAT truck and a helicopter, but these crooks might have actually gotten away. The police dog unit set came out a year later and has one of the minifigures that broke into this museum. This set shows Lego City police finding a hideout where crooks hide their stolen merchandise, and one of these items was actually in the museum set. So it seems like those two crooks from the museum were only partners for that one job, since Mustache Man here is storing his goods with this other guy. But funnily enough, this other guy has been involved in some of the craziest crimes the city's ever seen. He's committed 11 in total, from petty theft to that insane prison break from the intro. But prison breaks are nothing new to him. This giant one is the Prison Island set from 2016, and I already talked about it in my other video on Lego City Criminals, but this guy and his friends used a raft with a grappling hook, a hot air balloon, and beds with false bottoms to bust out of the most fortified prison in Lego City. But prison breaks are his specialty, so this was nothing for him. In 2012, he and his buddy got caught storing stolen money in a rock, went to jail, and broke out with a red crowbar. And how do I know they broke out? Because our guy was getting chased by the cops in another set with that same crowbar. Somehow, he stole this truck and managed to get away, which led to doing the job on Prison Island and getting caught with Mustache Man. After Prison Island, you'd think he'd be able to escape anything, but him and Mustache Man showed up a year later in the police station set as prisoners. But all it took was one homie to bust them out. He pulled up in a tow truck and started ripping the bars right off the wall, which let our two goats escape, but not before robbing the station. They are crooks after all. This crime is big simply because of who was getting broken out of prison. I mean, these two have an insane record, but the guy who broke them out has an even crazier one. He's committed 21 crimes in his career. But even crazier, 2 of them were with the guys he broke out of the police station. He's a veteran that started all the way back in 2013, doing stuff like wheeling his goods down the street in a wheelbarrow and robbing the museum with Mustache Man. So that covers their connection. But he didn't meet the other guy until 2014, when they were running from the cops in a hot rod and a motorcycle. They were trying to hide what they stole in another fake rock. But funnily enough, this guy is actually Potbelly from my Criminals video, and I had no idea he committed so many crimes. In 2015, he and the bearded guy from the police station got caught with their stash a different time, right before they did the big Prison Island job, and I guess he put on a few in the years after. Pretty much every crook in Lego City is connected somehow, and Potbelly's partner in crime is this guy with a very Amish beard. Because he's been around for so long, he's been in pretty much every sub-theme of Lego City Police, and him and this Amish guy were buddies in Swamp Police. It looks like they had to get caught in their first set together. I mean, a raft versus an airboat wouldn't even be close. But the Swamp Police just let them get away so they could find their hideout, and they did. Potbelly and his Amish friend had gems, cash, and even another convict who they probably broke out of prison in their hideout. It was definitely a win for the cops, but no matter how many times Potbelly got caught, he never stopped. He's a tried and true criminal who even steals pizza if he feels like it. But the worst crimes in LEGO are actually in the modular buildings theme, not LEGO City, and the Brick Bank set has two that are completely separate. This building is mostly owned by the bank, but it's also shared by a laundromat, and there's some really shady stuff going on here. Because of how small the building is, the laundromat's washing machines share a wall with the bank's big vault, and there are safety deposit boxes right behind them. Now, the machines themselves seem normal, but one of them is being falsely labeled as out of order with this red plate. When you put something inside, it goes straight into the big safety deposit box in the vault, and LEGO shows us that people are putting money in here. This is a very clever way to show how shady businesses wash their money, by laundering it through different things. But the guy putting the money in here is actually the bank's secretary, and he and an innocent-looking mother hatched a very elaborate plan. See, the vault has a locking mechanism, but the top is just some bars that are very easy to move. So if you can get up there, all you'd have to do was lift them and you'd be inside the vault. And funnily enough, the wall that connects the washing machines and deposit boxes can get you there. The mom had been scouting the building, taking pictures of everything, acting like a tourist. All the while, her and the secretary used them to figure out you could descend through the chimney to get on top of the vault. It's one of the most well thought out plans in any LEGO set. But a close second are crimes committed by the characters from LEGO City Adventurers. Before it retired, this theme had a TV show, so there's actually a good amount of lore on these characters, and they do crazy stuff. Like Big Betty, who used a magnet truck to steal an entire safe. She hooked the magnet up to the back of a monster truck that was pretty much as big as the bank she was robbing, and ripped it out through the wall. This isn't even the craziest vehicle from this show either. There's a guy named Hacksaw Hank who comes up with these insane plans that use the craziest vehicles you've ever seen. The only issue is, he always fails. His first robbery attempt was in the Driller Chase set, which sounds straightforward, but is the complete opposite. When you hear LEGO Drill, your mind probably goes straight to Power Miners, but Hank didn't use his to go underground. He drilled right through the wall of the bank, only to steal a tiny little safe with a few bars of gold in it. It gets better though. His second attempt was in the Patrol Boat set, where he used a one-person submarine to steal a different tiny safe. I guess there's an underwater bank somewhere in LEGO City, or Hank just used his vehicle in a weird way, like he did with the drill. But regardless, his third attempt was in the police chase at the bank set, and because of how big it is, there's a ton going on here. Hank was pulling off this job with Vito and Big Betty, and they'd actually been scouting this bank for some time. Everything revolved around this truck disguised as a cleaner that had super high-tech stuff inside, and a jackhammer on a small crane. This was the key to the entire operation. When the time was right, Vito and Betty would jackhammer the side of the bank to break in and steal everything they could before the cops got there. Meanwhile, Hank would fly to the top with some drone gadget he made, drop in from the roof, and load up the drone with bags of cash. It was by far the biggest heist LEGO City had ever seen. But notice how they didn't steal the entire safe like Betty did with her magnet? It may seem like a brilliant plan, but there's a big problem: cracking the safe. Once you get it back to base, it doesn't matter what's inside if you can't open it. But our buddy Potbelly actually thought about stuff like this. See, he didn't steal giant safes because he knows how annoying they are to open, but small ones like what he has in the Crooks Island set are perfect. They're small enough that you can find them pretty much anywhere, and you can use a welder to break them open. It's a very unique method that LEGO even pointed out in their description. We don't see it very often, but it's also in the Tow Truck Trouble set from 2017. It's pretty small, but it shows a criminal towing a human-sized safe with a tow cable and breaking it open with a giant welder after the fact. It's definitely a very unique method, but if we're gonna talk about unique, you have to see the Police Train heist set from this year. With the 1,300 pieces, you can build a train track, a train loaded with all sorts of stuff, and a helicopter that criminals use to steal this stuff. But the best part is this train uses the powered up system and comes with a remote control to control it. It's like the old monorail sets from back in the day, except for Lego City, but the actual crime here is pretty crazy. The criminals have this giant claw on the bottom of their helicopter and plan to use it to steal literally everything on the train. They can take the car, the gigantic safe, and their friend that's being transported to prison. I don't know who this guy is, but if he's getting transported by train, then he's going somewhere really far away. I wonder what crime he had to commit to end up here. Regardless, the moving train and the helicopter are the highlights of this set, but it's actually not the first time we've seen criminals use a chopper. There's one in the Diamond Heist set too, and it looks like an attack helicopter that got repurposed by criminals for heists. But not just any criminals, the Ravens. There isn't much information about them online, so they seem like a crime group that Lego planned to expand but never actually did. I don't even know if they're featured in another set. But regardless, they used their helicopter to steal a bright orange diamond, and their plan actually looks pretty sound. This set has two Ravens, so while one of them was flying the chopper, the other one dropped right on top of the diamond, used a saw to cut out the case, and attached it to the tether so they could fly off with everything intact. And from what Lego has us build in this set, there seems to be only one man capable of stopping them. The other cop is stuck on the ground with the truck. Criminals don't always use crazy choppers like this one though. The one in the Mountain Police headquarters set is pretty small and is actually piloted by Potbelly. This is the same set with the famous Stumpy minifigure who was on the run and was just trying to lay low. He was stashing his loot behind a rock like most criminals, but the main plot of this set was a prison break. Only one guy was being held in this prison, but Potbelly must have worked with him sometime in the last 13 years. So he took it upon himself to pilot a one-man helicopter and rip his jail bars right off the wall. Prisons in the middle of nowhere like this house some pretty dangerous criminals. So like the train heist set, it seems like our buddy Potbelly is breaking out a pretty notorious criminal. But worst crimes doesn't have to mean the biggest. It could also mean the dumbest. The auto transport heist set comes with two bandits trying to steal a car, but there's a lot more going on here than what it looks like. The car they're stealing has already been impounded by the cops and has bags of cash sitting in the back. See, I think what happened here is these two bandits robbed a bank and got caught while trying to escape, but were able to get away as long as they left the car behind. But instead of taking the loss and forgetting about the car, they went back for round 2 and tried to intercept the police while they were transporting the car. It's a completely stupid plan if it's actually true, but the Sky Police drone chase set is just plain stupid. This guy decided he wanted to steal the giant golden firefighter statue that had been there since 1932, which is actually referencing when Lego first started. But regardless, he thought the smartest way to do it would be to snatch it up with a drone. Now, this plan wouldn't be bad if the guy didn't have to be so close to his drone to control it. But I guess he got a cheap one, so oh well. The Sky Police's helicopters always come equipped with net shooters, so no matter what this plan was, it was never gonna work. But which of these crimes do you think was the worst? Be sure to let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.